The Pathfinder, Chapter 4, From Shadow Boxing to Enlightened Shadows, when he stopped fighting his darkness and started listening to it. For years, he thought he was only chasing light, running from the dark, trying to outrun everything that hurt, but the truth was, the shadow never left him. It walked behind him through lonely nights, stood in the corners when the danger got close, and covered him when the world went cold. Before he was old enough to understand pain, that shadow already knew how to survive it. Through every loss, every lesson, every season that demanded a different kind of strength, it stayed there, and not to hold him back, but to make sure he made it. He was never truly alone. His shadow had his back long before he knew how to name it. He stayed focused on the light ahead, so focused he almost forgot something behind him had been carrying weight too. The shadow never asked to be worshipped, it just didn't want to be treated like it wasn't there. All the hurt he kept pushing past, all the feelings he never sat with, all the parts of himself he thought he outgrew. They didn't disappear, they just stood in the dark waiting on him to turn around. That's the thing about what a man refused to face. It don't die, it waits. By then, the fight wasn't with the world first. It was with the part of him he kept pretending wasn't there. So the shadow stepped forward, not to destroy him, but to make him look. Every wound he buried, every feeling he outran, every truth he dodged started putting his fists up too. Sometimes the war inside ain't punishment, sometimes it's the part of you demanding truth. That's when life stopped just feeling personal and started feeling revealing. Every argument, every distance, every cold silence started holding up a mirror. Friends, family, lovers, even people at work. He kept seeing the same lesson come back wearing different faces. The mistrust, the harsh words, the broken promises, the walls. Some of it was pain he had suffered, and some of it was pain he had passed along too. Life was showing him himself through everybody he met. Some truths don't come to break a man, they come to make him honest. He had seen where life hurt him, but now he had to face the places where he had hurt others too. The harsh words, the cold silence, the times he didn't show up right as a friend, a lover, or a son. Not to drown in guilt, but to stop hiding behind excuses. That's where healing started. When he got real enough to own the pain he caused. That's when the mirror got harder to look at. The selfishness, the anger, the inconsistency, the coldness he kept judging in other people started feeling familiar. Not because they were right for it, but because some of it used to live in him too. Life wasn't just showing him who hurt him no more, it was showing him the parts of himself he still had to heal. And once he saw that, judgment got quieter and understanding got louder. By then, he had stopped wrestling every wound like it came just to break him. He started standing still long enough to read it. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the lonely nights, the hard lessons, none of it vanished, but it started making sense. Pain quit feeling like random punishment and started feeling like instruction. That was the shift. He stopped asking why it happened to him and started asking what it came to teach him. He wasn't letting go of the pain by pretending it never happened. He was letting go of the habit of building his whole identity around it. The hurt was real, the losses were real, but he started understanding that blame couldn't carry him where truth was trying to take him. So he took the victim cloak off his shoulders. Not because he was never wounded, but because accountability gave him something blame never could, his power back. That was the night he stopped treating his shadow like an enemy and started hearing it like a witness. He placed his hand over his heart and finally spoke the truth he had been avoiding. From this point forward, he walked as one. He wasn't surrendering to darkness, he was giving it purpose. The part of him that had protected him, warned him, and survived for him was no longer something to fear. It became an ally, teacher, protector, mirror. And once the light in him touched the shadow without trying to erase it, wholeness began. By then, he wasn't walking with fear no more. The shadow that once felt like a burden had become a witness, a teacher, a guide. It no longer followed him like something trying to drag him backward. It moved with him, lit by the same truth that was changing him from the inside out. He didn't destroy the darkness, he gave it purpose. And that's when the path started looking less like survival and more like wholeness in motion.